What's up, guys? Happy New Year. Welcome to another episode of Love and War with Dominick Cruz. I just wanted to take a minute and say thank you for liking, subscribing. I know how much you guys all love me and just want to be able to give me gifts because of all the things I've done throughout my career. So you can give me a gift. Like I said, like, subscribe. Thank you. I'm so appreciative because that's, the next direction. That's how I make things keep moving and keep giving you guys stuff to talk about. Mostly making fun of me, probably. But today I wanted to go over, because it's the end of the year, a big recap of 2025. There's been incredible fights. I've gotten to call them. I've gotten to watch them on the outside at home and just go through some of the best fights, some of the current events that are going on today in the world, and give you my perspective of them. We'll break down some fights analytically too.
Dominick the Dominator!
That is the dark sides of us that don't work, but they work perfectly for war.
You can love somebody and still beat them up.
The first fight I want to start with was the Ilia Topuria versus Ciryl Oliveria. The reason why is because so many people gave Oliveria a chance. And when I watched the film on this, I knew there wasn't really a chance. I knew exactly what was going to happen because you can see how straight up tall Oliveria stands. It really leaves his body open. And I thought that the problem was going to be the body work. And he's throwing the jabs great to the head. But what really sets up the finish for Topuria here is the way that he jabs to the body right there. And he jabs to the head, boom, and then that sets up the finish. Because when you go to the bottom and then you work back up to the head, you have to respect that body shot. So look how he covers here, but he can't cover his gut. His gut, when you're that high, you're trying to keep the brain going, but the boom, that body shot sets up the shot to the head, and then he gets mad and he walks right into that right hand, left hook. So body head, that's boxing 101. You start low and you work up the body to get to the knockout. And it's just perfect technique, great balance, and he waits for the perfect timing. The second Oliveria takes that step forward, right hand, left hook. And Topuria, we already know how good he is from the knockouts that he's had, but I think what we're seeing now is just how precise he is. And what impressed me most about this was what everybody's talked about already. He's already celebrating before the fight happens. I don't think people at home really know how difficult that is to actually do, because you have to put aside the fact that you don't know for sure that you're going to win. No matter what Ilia Topuria says, he did not know for a fact that this was going to happen. But to him, he did know. That's what's weird. When you're this confident in your abilities, when you really believe in yourself that much, you can have a winner. Like, he had a celebration party of having the belt and everything the night before this fight. And man, for a lot of people, that would just add pressure. But for him, he just came out and did this. I mean, he finished the fight exactly the way he said in the first round, called it. And you got to give it to pretty much Conor, because he was the first one to start calling the shot and following it. You don't hear a lot of guys call it the way that Conor did. And now you're seeing Topuria do the same thing. It kind of set the bar for calling your shot. And I mean, it was beautiful because we all know how good Oliveria is. He's got so much experience, so just well tested. And to go in there and just get outclassed like that was very impressive in the first round. And the reason is because of the experience, because of how tough Oliveria was. He was doing the right thing. He kept the shorter Topuria on his heels and was doing what he needed to do. But I personally don't like that he just walked right in like that. Like, being the taller fighter, you kind of want to play the push-pull game a little bit more if you're me. But again, Oliveria doesn't really have that. He's got a Muay Thai style. It's stand in the pocket. It's stay up tight. It's get hit and return. And then keep pouring the pressure on until the guy gets tired and wears out. Well, Topuria can move his feet, and he's feinting. Notice how he's feinting. And the feints are what really make the difference on using the jab and everything else. And also, you got to give credit to Oliveria for the elbow he lands, because he does land a nasty elbow that would normally put people's lights out. But Topuria eats the elbow like nothing and then keeps moving forward and gets the finish. But as you can see here, Oliveira's doing his part. It's not like he just went out there and got creamed, but he did. Like, he was doing the things he needed to do. Just Topuria is that much better. And he proved it on this night. The other fight I wanted to move on to was Islam Makhachev. He moved up to 170 pounds. And he ties Anderson Silva's record for the most consecutive victories inside the octagon and in a second weight class. So Makhachev fought JDM and made it just look like an amateur versus a pro, honestly. Now, we know if this was a pure stand-up fight, it probably would have been a lot closer if it just stayed standing the whole time. I think it could have looked more of like champion versus champion. But there's just such a discrepancy in the grappling, obviously. And, I think it is kind of a responsibility as a champion to try to make it as fun to watch as possible, but it's not 100% your job. Your job is to win, keep the belt, because you got to be kind of selfish with that too. If you just try to entertain the whole time, the fans, and you don't get the win, well, the fans don't care when you lose. So they also just throw you out to the win when you lose. So the fact that he won, now the fans can't throw Makhachev out. But at the other end, they'll say, yeah, you won, but you made it boring. He didn't make it boring. He made it dominant. What I would invite everybody to go look at is how hard it is to hold another human down on the ground, especially when you're in front of this many people and especially when you're trying to hurt the other person. For JDM, with the skills that he possesses, to not be able to move from his back for 5 rounds is incredible. It is one of the hardest things in the world to hold somebody down and keep them down. Even the best grapplers in the world, like even think of, we're going to talk about Merab later on. He's a guy who can take anybody down up to 30, 40 times. Well, the only reason you're taking somebody down that many times is because you can't hold them down. Well, Makhachev gets one takedown around and you don't get back up. That's what makes him so special. When he gets you down, he's got that sambo, jiu-jitsu, judo background mixed together where he's like a refrigerator or a big old, truck sitting on top of you, and you just don't get back up. And it breaks the soul and it breaks the will of you if you've ever been wrestled like that. I grew up wrestling junior high and high school, and you get into some practices and you have memories of wrestling certain guys that you might not take down the entire season. You wrestle every day and you don't get one takedown the whole season. Islam kind of reminds me of that guy in the room. You might not ever take him down. He's just always going to dominate. And when you're wrestling a guy like that in the room and you know they're that good, it's hard to get back up and beat them. They get like this big brother feel to you. And Makhachev did that in the first round. He big brother JDM and just completely owned him. And you have to give credit where credit is due. It is so much harder than anybody in the world knows to hold somebody down the way that Makhachev did. So I tip my hat to him. He didn't get hit barely at all. He just got to go out there and have a pure grappling match for the most part. I mean, as a fighter, you pray to God for fights like that. You don't got to get hit. You don't get black eyes. You don't get cut. You don't get that body shot that you got to be tough through. You just get out there, put him on his back, end it. Beautiful. And let's not take away from his stand-up either, because when you're watching these, it's not like JDM's just piecing him up. He's blocking everything. He sees everything. He's defending everything. He's hand fighting the right way. He's keeping distance the right way. And that's what sets up the takedown. It's not just easy. He's not just so good at grappling. He just walks out there and grabs the guy and puts him on the back. He took his time in the stand-up. He made all the reads, and then he times the takedown and gets it. And look how flat he keeps JDM on his back. Look at that near side underhook he's got. Near side being the one on the side that he has the half guard. Then he switches back and forth to the top side underhook, and then he goes to guillotine. And he just rinse and repeats. Underhook battles, over the head, half guard, mount, back take. He gets up, puts him back down. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Dominating fight. And if you understand grappling, it's entertaining to watch because it's incredible to watch somebody hold somebody down like that. If you don't understand grappling and you were bored by this fight, okay, but go learn the sport of mixed martial arts. This isn't kickboxing. This isn't boxing. It's mixed martial arts. So if you don't want to see that could be a possibility in some fights, learn about the sport. Don't blame the fighter. You're watching the sport that's part of it, in my opinion. But yeah, great job, Makhachev. Great job, squad out there. They're killing it. You got to give credit to them. Another fight I kind of touched on a little bit was Merab versus Umar Nurmagomedov. But he also, he had quite a slew of wins. He'll have his 4th title defense this year, which has never been done. I've done 3 title defenses when I was in the WEC, moving to the UFC. So I've done a lot, but never 4 in 1 year. I'd done 3 in a year, but not 4. And for him to go out and be able to have this much accuracy with his wins, with that kind of work rate, that's what's impressive to me, and no injuries. So like normally when you have that many fights, you're usually coming out of the fight with an injury. You're going into the fight with an injury, especially with a fight like Umar. Like you're usually coming out of that fight beat up. This guy's so good at striking, Umar, so well-rounded, nasty southpaw. But as you can see when watching this fight, Merab just overwhelmed him with pressure and offense. He threw so many punches and so many takedowns mixed into it that Umar couldn't get the reads he needed to be as strategic and sharp as he is with his striking. He's one of the best strikers in the world, but he can't use it without the space. And what Merab does is he forces these grappling scrambles. Right now, Nurmagomedov had a great defense, right? He kicked him off and he gets back on this takedown, as you just see. He defended a takedown. But Merab wants this style fight. He doesn't care even if he's in a bad position there, because he's grappling with you. He's not getting hit. See right here, he's not getting hit. He's wrestling. This is where Merab wants it. Where he doesn't want it is right here. At this distance. If you make Merab stay at this distance the whole fight, you give yourself a chance. But when you let him connect like this and mix the grappling into it by staying on the center line, he is going to be in heaven. He's going to find his comfort. The only way you're going to beat Merab Dvalishvili is to make him uncomfortable. And the only way to make him uncomfortable is to make sure he can't get a takedown. You have to stop the takedowns for at least 1 round. Make him stand up the whole round so that he gets a little bit tired. The reason he's not getting tired is because he's not uncomfortable. He's fighting his style fight. He's leading the dance. Now, it's not like he's not getting hit and eating shots right here. He's not completely comfortable here. But look, he always returns the shot and then he gets right back to where he's comfortable, which is the grappling. And so when you give that kind of comfort to somebody like Dvalishvili, they're going to keep winning. He's dictating the win. He's leading the dance. Another takedown. He's landing 30, 40 takedowns around. That's like standing, if it's a boxing match, and landing like 40 punches in a row, letting somebody take you down that much. And nobody's letting him do this. He's just that good at takedowns. He's always mixing it up with his striking. He's always working. He's never sitting still. And I think what makes Merab so special is he's having fun the whole time. From the walkout to the training camp to right here, he's still playing games. He's laughing. He's talking in the middle of it. That's not a show. That's like how he is as a human. And so he's having fun from beginning to end. He's having fun preparing. He's having fun during. He's having fun being the man. It doesn't look like to me he's carrying weight and pressure. He's just enjoying it. And I can remember when I was on my run, I had gone, I think, 6-10 years or something without losing from WEC to the UFC. When I was in that run, that's how I felt. It's just so fun. I enjoyed the talking trash on the interviews. I enjoyed talking shit to people to their face when I get to see them and that we're going to fight at the end of it. And I get to say everything I want to say. And I don't have to care about hurting your feelings, your poor little feelings. For once, I get to just be the person that I am, which is a motherfucker sometimes. I'm just going to fuck you up. I don't care how you feel. And I don't care if it makes your mom cry. And I don't care if it makes your family cry. And I hope it does. And there's a piece of us that we all have inside of us that has that. A lot of us don't want to admit it. That's in me deep. I stayed in that mode for 20 years. I'm coming out the other side going, oh, this is what life looks like when you don't have to just be a maniac all the time and be ready to beat the next person. Another fight that I really want to talk about, obviously, is Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane. The reason why I want to talk about this fight is obviously it ended anticlimactically, is how we would put it. You could see the speed, the fluidity of both guys. Great single leg defense there by Gane. Great left hand, crafty southpaw. I'll be honest, when I watched the film of Gane versus John Jones, I thought Tom Aspinall would just throw a couple strikes, power double him into the fence and take him down. But right here, you see the takedown defense from Gane. Not only did it improve, but I think we also see that Tom Aspinall might not be as high level of a wrestler as we might have thought. He just faced guys that couldn't really wrestle. I think Jon Jones would agree with me on that. He's one of the better wrestlers in the world, in mixed martial arts, I would say. And I do believe after watching this fight of Aspinall and Gane that Jon Jones will out-wrestle Aspinall for sure, no doubt in my mind. He's a nasty JUCO wrestler, junior college, and then you add the striking and the length and the range, and Jon Jones has just nasty Greco. And so the mixture of how he can use his range, his length, get to underhooks and stop Tom Aspinall from throwing these combinations, I think would be a real problem. Look, he got rocked right there by Gane, and then the eye pokes happened. And it's so sad because the fight was very competitive. And we were going to find out, all right, is Aspinall as good as he thinks he is the world's saying, is what he's shown, getting all these fast finishes? I think he got 5 first-round finishes in a row, maybe even 6, if I remember right. And then now he faces Gane, and he's about to go into the second round, and then he gets his eyes poked out by this guy. And you're just like, it's such a letdown because we needed this fight, not just because of the fight, but in heavyweight, we just need fights. We need fighters like Aspinall there. We need fighters like Gane to come out and do what they were doing and put on the type of fight that they were putting on. And to see it end like that still pisses me off. It's just, and the worst part is like, just everybody gets to have an opinion now. It's like, it's not like Aspinall can go out there and say, all right, these are your opinions, but I won. It's just like, oh, we don't know. You might not have won. And Gane doesn't know. Nobody knows. So they're going to have a rematch now. They both trained so hard. And that fight looked so competitive at that moment that are we going to get the same type of competitive nature from both guys? I don't know if you can recreate that again. Feel bad for Gane too, because he did look ready and he was looking good, and he might have gotten another chance at Jon Jones the way he was looking if he could have won that. And I don't blame the gloves, and I don't blame anything. I just blame it being a chance of fighting. This is what happens in mixed martial arts. I don't think anybody's wrong or right about it. I don't think there's much you can do about it. I think just eye pokes happen, groin shots happen. I think that the way that we handle it could probably change, in the sense of like taking a point here or there. So like if like right there, if they go, okay, Tom, it was really bad. He poked both your eyes. You get a point for each eye that he poked. Now he's down 2 points. Does Tom Aspinall maybe get his guts back and say, hey, okay, I just got to survive this, even though there's 3 of them and he's blurry. Will I get through this because I got the extra? I don't know. Does he take the fight if there's more points taken? So I don't know. I think there's just a way that you can deal with the eye pokes, like how you deduct points or add points or penalize the fighter. Maybe that could change how the eye pokes go. But I think for the most part, the way they're doing it, there's not really a big price you got to pay for eye pokes. So some guys might just do it and just say, oh, well, it's no big deal because the fight's not going to stop. And you know what I mean? Like there's just you don't really get in that much trouble for doing it unless you do it like more than once. So that was disappointing. Tom Aspinall, I hope you get well. They're saying now he might need surgery on his eyes. That's the rumors. Don't know if it's true. But for anybody out there saying that he just wanted out, I'm sorry. You're just silly. You're grabbing at nothing. This guy's as tough as they come. All of us are as tough as they come. We don't want to get here and then just step out because we're scared. We're already in there. Adrenaline's already rushing. It's just, I think maybe he wanted to make sure he was perfect, and that's one bad way of looking at it. Like, oh, I'm not perfect. I see doubles, so I can't continue. And some people might say, well, things aren't always going to be perfect. You got to make it happen. One example of that is I've seen Jon Jones break his toe. It's literally facing the other direction, and he stays in there and he keeps going. Now, I'll say, as bad as that was, I've had broken hands going into fights, during fights. You got to tough it out. But that is different than being able to see the person in front of you. So, each injury is different. I don't think any injury that somebody toughs out and gets through is better than the other. I think it's just how bad do you want it if you can make it work. Tom Aspinall couldn't. It's heartbreaking. And I don't know. I guess I don't even really care about the rematch. That's what's weird. Like, I'm not saying that it shouldn't happen. I'm just saying like, ugh. Hey guys, let me take a second to tell you about Huel. What I like about it is the convenience of it, number one. But also, It's 400 calories in just one of these shakes. These are the ones that are easy and on the travel to go, but this has the same amount. And if you want to add an extra scoop, you can obviously have more calories. If you're trying to gain weight, if you're trying to lose weight, it's got over 40 grams of protein just in this, very limited sugar, so you're not just getting a bunch of extra load and fat and sugar and all this crap in you. And it's a pea protein, so it's healthier for you on considering all the different proteins out there. But what I also like is the steady energy plant-based daily greens that they give you. That also gets the magnesium, the fiber, everything moving, because sometimes the protein can stop you up. So they've got a good balance of both getting everything moving in your body, getting you buff, getting you the weight loss, everything you need in one package. And like I said, my favorite part is the convenience. So if you don't have Huel, go grab some. Great protein source. Get 15% off your first order at Huel.com with code DOM. That's code DOM. Minimum $75 purchase. Huge thanks to Huel for helping me stay sane and healthy this holiday season, and for supporting the podcast too. Thanks, guys. Let's switch gears for a second. We need to talk about something that's probably more exposed than your questionable browser history. And that's where you've looked as a whole on the internet. You know, people can follow you. Let's say you're at the airport. Let's say you're at a friend's house and you don't want people to know what you're doing on their internet. The VPN Surfshark comes in handy. It's your go-to solution for secure internet access. You don't got to worry about people snooping around, checking anything, or just in general, just the peace of mind of knowing somebody can't go back and look even if they wanted to is enough. Surfshark creates a virtual private network that encrypts your entire internet activity, hiding your IP address and making your online activity absolutely invisible. It's essential when I'm working on the public Wi-Fi networks because it protects me from anyone trying to snoop into my data. And, you know, I've never connected to the airport Wi-Fi because that's where they're going to try to find you. That's where all the hackers are at. That's how they get into everything. That's where you really get put on blast. So be careful at the airport. And the reason I say that is, let's say the glass is half full. Nobody's ever going to track me. Nobody cares about me. Well, just the peace of mind alone is huge. And it's got so much value to it. Surfshark operates on a strict no logs policy, meaning your browsing history stays locked down. And what's awesome is that it secures all your devices simultaneously with just one account. They also offer Surfshark Alert. This is a monitoring tool that notifies me immediately if my email or passwords appear in any breached database. Secure your privacy with Surfshark. It's completely risk-free with their 30-day money-back guarantee. Right now, go to surfshark.deals/DomCruz and use my code DomCruz to get an exclusive deal plus 4 extra months at checkout. That link and code are in the episode description. I want to give a big shout out to Originals Family Farm for being the launch sponsor. Thanks so much for all the green you give to the world. You're just bringing more oxygen to all of us. And at the same time, you bring a lot of peace. You're sharing the farms with the world. We all get to partake. And, you know, it just brings everybody together. Thank you. Another fight that I wanted to talk on was Sean O'Malley getting ready to fight. Oh, Song Yadong. That's right. I love that fight. The way O'Malley moves his feet, the side-to-side movement, the length, the range, the way that he strikes. I think it's going to be tricky for Song to deal with because Song's kind of more stationary and he's looking to always land that big shot. But if Song can mix in the grappling to his striking, he'll have a really good stake to claim. But no matter what, that is going to be a fun, entertaining fight to watch. And the other thing I would say is one of the things that people are talking about is O'Malley's like, hey, oh man, I've fallen off. I think he's on the top of the main card, but he's not like a co-main or a main event. And people are saying that he fell off. I want to say that it's actually, he gets paid the same whether he's on the undercard of whether he's on the prelims main event or whether he's on the co-main event. You get paid the same. So for 5 rounds, you get paid an extra 25 grand. But for 3 rounds, you get paid your purse. So he's getting paid a specific purse for 3 rounds, but if you add the extra 2 5 rounds, you get 25 extra $1,000. Depending on his contract, you don't know, but really you don't get more money for being higher up on the card. If you're the co-main event or the main event, you don't get paid more money. You just have more work to do. You have more media to cover. You're responsible for lifting the card up, elevating the card. They're not going to pay you anymore for all the extra work you're going to do. You're just going to show up early, leave late, and get paid the same. So I used to ask to get not only pulled out of the rankings because they're going to pay by the pay that I was making. I was going to face somebody in the top 10 no matter what. So pull me out of the rankings. You're still going to put me against a top 10 guy or not. And then the other thing is I'm getting paid the same whether I'm the main event or the prelims. So it's really just your ego you're stroking where you're at on the card. It has nothing to do with your pay. So where O'Malley is, he's getting paid the same. He's doing everything he's got to do. He might not be the co-main or the main event, but he's still helping to run the card, and he's still going to push the card in general and on who watches it. So good luck to him. He's fun to watch. I'm glad he's in the division. He adds a wrinkle of just dynamic striking, flash. He's a good talker. His podcast is doing well. The internet stuff that he does, he puts his butt on the line with his words. That's what makes him fun to watch also. He doesn't just say, fence riding stuff. He says stuff on one end, like I'm going to win. I'm going to knock him. He says what he's going to do, and it makes him entertaining because he puts his butt on the line with his words. So respect to O'Malley for what he's done. He's got a style that moves most similar to me that I can see right now in the division besides Corey Sandhagen, with a sense of footwork, movement, dynamic athleticism, side-to-side strikes, explosive right hands, left hands, angles. These are all things he utilizes very similar to the way I did. It's a completely different look, but the ideas are similar. And I think he's just got a different level of power that I love the confidence he has in his hands. As you can see here, when he lands, he knows he can knock you out. So that's also fun to watch. Very entertaining guy. One of the fights that I got to really talk about too is José Aldo versus Aiemann Zahabi. Aiemann Zahabi. I got to meet Aiemann when I was in Canada recently, and he might be the nicest guy on earth. I mean, most Canadians are pretty nice from my experience, unless you take away their syrup on tariffs. But other than that, they're just really nice. And he's one of them. He's got a family. He's got a wife. He's got kids. He seems like a stay-at-home dad cooking pancakes all day. And then he comes out and fights José Aldo, gets his head soccer kicked, and he keeps it together and comes back and gets the win against José Aldo. Now, obviously, we know José Aldo's lost some, but it doesn't take away who he is. He's still José Aldo. He's still nasty. He was looking really good in this fight. I do believe it was they gave the win to the right person. I do believe Zahabi won that because he did more at the end of that fight to get the win. But people would argue, oh, come on. José Aldo got that done, but he kind of gassed himself out trying to get the finish, which is you got to be smart. You got to be strategic. And Aiemann really read that well. He survived the onslaught, got through it. But what makes him dangerous is look how awkward he is. I mean, he does the right things. The way he throws his punches to the clinch, that's not an easy thing to choose to do, but he clinches at the right time. He stays awkward with his timing and his rhythm at the perfect times. He keeps the pressure at the right times. He's got Zahabi in his corner, one of the smartest cornermen in the game. He's just got a lot of experience, his brother, Zahabi, for us. And so I think that also helps too with confidence and just mindset. But he fought José Aldo amazingly. And then he ends up winning his next fight too. So this guy is working his way towards the title shot. And nobody saw this guy coming out of nowhere. I think what's made him so dangerous is he's just got such an unorthodox way about the way he throws his strikes, the way he defends, the way he pressures. He's unorthodox. He kind of reminds me, if you're a pitcher, he throws nothing but changeups. And so you get used to fastballs all the time. Then all of a sudden, this pitcher comes with a changeup. It's like a weird speed. It comes from a weird angle. You don't know how to deal with it. Zahabi is a changeup. And I do think that people will adjust to him now that he's in the top 5. They'll really start taking him serious. They're really going to start preparing for his style. And then eventually, I think he's going to get shut down. But I think he's got he can get through this next fight, he'll do really well and maybe even get a title shot, which is shocking. But you got to give so much kudos to this man for what he's done. Towards the tail end of his career, he's found a way to make it work, to get his style to land, and he's found a way to win. That's what this thing's all about. And it's not boring. Like, his fight's fun to watch. He stays standing relatively the whole fight. He's not just sitting you down on your butt. Look at this shot he ate. I mean, look at the kicks. He ate the knee, ate the kick. He just keeps getting chased. He's flopping all over the place. And then look at how much energy Jose Aldo's using. He is just looking for the blood. And he hits him right there. This is where you usually see Jose Aldo use his experience. But he's tired now. And Zahabi reads it. It's a volley we're playing, guys, in fighting. So you can try to kill the guy all you want, but you've got to keep it toned down, because if you overdo it, then you got no way to defend yourself if you don't get him out of there. And that's what happened here. He couldn't get Zahabi out of there. He used up all the gas in the tank, and now Zahabi's got plenty left after he gets the cobwebs out of his brain. And look at that. Stuffs the takedown. And then just Jose Aldo quits at the end here. The last 2.5 minutes, he does quit. Like, that's how I see it. Look at him holding full guard. He's pulling him in instead of trying to create space and get to a single leg and get back up. He is completely gassed out. And I think it shocked Jose Aldo. And I think it might have shocked Zahabi too, but he just did his job and stayed on the gas pedal. Look how he's staying on the gas pedal here. And I would say grappling is his probably biggest strength if I watched him. And so in this position, that's why he's able to keep Jose Aldo here. It's not easy to stay in the guard here and just be able to throw and be dangerous with the elbows the way he's doing. Most people just kind of touch and squeeze. You can see him posturing. He's got good technique. He's going for the elbows. He's landing them and cutting Jose Aldo open with them. This is what gets him the win. He's not just taking this dude down and squeezing him. He's taking this dude down and beating the hell out of him while he's on his back. He legitimately beat Jose Aldo, and I'll always give credit to him for that. Another fight, epic to watch. I mean, I could go on for days, but we got Carlos Prates versus Leon Edwards. That's a fight that I thought Prates would win. I just didn't see it being like this. I like Leon Edwards. I would say, like, I'm a fan of him as a human being. Like, we had fun just kicking it together. Got to hang out a couple times, and I just have so much respect for his style. He's got such good balance, crafty southpaw, super fast, super strong. To fight a guy like Kamaru and win, I know how hard that is. And I feel like getting through Kamaru just really kind of stumped him. Like, after he did that, it was like he was done. And then you got to face a guy like Prates. Like, geez, another mirror match. A guy who can kickbox, probably better than you, obviously, as we saw, but doesn't have the grappling, doesn't have the wrestling. Well, Leon Edwards tried to use the grappling and the wrestling, but he doesn't have it in that area either. So now they had to go striking for striking with each other. Well, Prates, look how he's rhythmic. Look how he's hopping and always on his toes. And the difference is Leon Edwards is not on his toes. He's not rhythmic. He's kind of flat-footed. He's a southpaw, but it makes for a difference in style. And Prates was able to stuff this early takedown and just stay confident with that defense of the takedown. After that, he knows, us as fighters, we know when a guy tries to take you down this heavy at this point, we know, like, okay, after they're trying to take me down, they're not confident in their striking. Like, he's not confident striking with me. That's why he's trying to clinch me up and wrestle me. So I promise you, Prates thought about this and then said, okay, it gave him more confidence when they went into the next round. But being able to do this defense, and then look how he just gets right back on the gas. Calf kick, and see how he's hopping, that little hop, that's rhythm. People might not see it, but that little hop that he does, that's rhythm. He's on rhythm here, and that's hard to time. Rhythm is hard to time, because in between those hops, you might look like you're just hopping, but you can hide what you're going to throw. It could be a right hook, it could be a left straight. You're just hidden by the rhythm here, like this. And he does that, and he's able to really land some nasty strikes with that. But this is going to be the problem when he fights anybody else. They're just going to try to grapple him to death. So anybody with like a Makhachev style grappling can easily really beat Carlos Prates, I believe. But Leon Edwards isn't that guy. He didn't have that level of grappling. He's a striker. So that's why they made this fight happen. They wanted to see who was the better striker, put on a good fight for the fans. They got it. Prates proved he's the better striker. I don't know if he's the better fighter, but he's the better striker. And he got the better of Leon Edwards that night. Look at this left hand that he lands to get the finish. We'll fast forward to the end because this is the part that's kind of annoying to watch, was that just grappling part where he's just squeezing him. But right here, he times this left hand so well. And, he's getting clipped, Edwards. Look at that. Right hook, eats it. Jab, eats it. You never see Leon Edwards get hit with shots like that. That's how good he is. But don't forget, he's a southpaw versus a southpaw. That is different. When you're facing a southpaw, you're not used to getting jabbed. You're not used to getting hooked. And the second Leon Edwards goes to his regular stance, Prates makes the read and lands the left hand. Because Prates is used to landing that left hand on conventional fighters. So the second Leon Edwards switched stance to conventional, he just popped him with that left hand and put the lights out. Watch. See how he switches right there? He's right here, southpaw, southpaw. The second he switches, watch the left hand come in. There's the switch. Watch, left hand. Boom! So when the feet switch, it's like a light comes on for me at least. I'm like, ooh, that's what I'm looking for. It's like you see like a Rubik's Cube, it just things line up and you're like, there's the distance. I've been waiting for that. He can't find it here. He can't find it here. So he threw the knee, but watch, the second he switches, he sees what he's looking for and his eyes light up and he just wings it. There it is. Boop. So I just can't tell you enough. You gotta be able to switch stance this day and age. But better than that, you have to have the top level defense in both stances. Defense is number one. And we saw that in that fight. Kudos to Leon Edwards, though, not bagging on that dude. One of the nastiest guys in the world. Don't sleep on it. Just because he got a loss doesn't mean he's not one of the nastiest guys in the world. Prates is on fire, though. Rolled up a cigarette at the end of that, probably a spliff, too. What a freaking G. Joshua Van versus Tatsura. He's from Miramar. Joshua Van's just been looking epic. His boxing, his balance, his reactions, and his takedown defense. Now, he hasn't really had to stop a guy that puts two moves together yet, in my opinion. And that means like a shot to a second move. It's everybody he's fought has only had one move. They've got one takedown, and if they don't get it, they're back up on their feet. And I think that's kind of easy to stop, which is what Joshua Van's doing. But it's when you put two moves together that it's hard to stop that level of grappling. That's a guy like Makhachev that does that. The highest level grapplers can put two moves together. They'll bow nickel, things like that. They'll shoot one thing knowing you're going to react, and then they're linking that one move to two other moves or another move after that just to get the actual takedown. The first one's just a smokescreen. You're going to need that to take down Joshua Van. But as you can see here in the striking, his reactions are amazing. What makes him special to me is at 125, he's got punching power that can knock people out, which is rare at that weight class because most of the time they're moving their feet so much. But the reason he has that is because he's extremely good at staying in the pocket and staying at a danger in the pocket. Most guys, they bounce out of the pocket in order to stay safe. Joshua Van steps into the pocket, moves his head, defends everything, and then counters with his feet planted. So that not only gives him power, but it also allows him to stay in the pocket where he can return the damage after it's been dealt to him. A lot of guys, they can take a shot and they back out. Now you're out of range and you can't strike back. Joshua Van isn't that guy. But look how much Tatsura really tested him on the grappling. One move at a time, not two moves at a time, mind you, but one move at a time, and he was able to defend it all here. He stops the first shot every single time. That was a beautiful throw. That's the judo that he uses, and he's able to keep him down here. And this is where you see one part of the armor of Joshua Van that just... I think there's certain guys like a Pantoja who he's fighting can really take advantage of that. If Pantoja gets him down there, he could probably take his back and finish him. So that's why this fight's happening with Pantoja. Joshua Van versus Pantoja. Pantoja hasn't been finished. He hasn't lost in forever. But I do know that Joshua Van is the next best guy to fight Pantoja at 125 pounds. And he has the real chance to be a star. He's got the look. His fighting style is fun to watch. He's got Miramar behind him. And, I think the future is really bright for this guy, Joshua Van. So keep a lookout for him. We recorded before, but I wanted to come back in to talk about this, the Pantoja and Joshua Van fight, because it ended so quickly. Pantoja has been argued as maybe the greatest of all time at 125, and to end in 38 seconds, it was anticlimactic at the least. And it just left some questions with Pantoja shaking his head no. It looked to me like he's saying to the ref, like, I'm fine, we're good, I'm back into place, can we keep going? It just looked that way, but I wasn't down there with the ref, so I just wanted to talk about it. I put a tweet out about it. So right here, I wanted to talk about this tweet because it got 1 million views. It got picked up by a lot, more than I ever expected. Maybe it was because spell check spelled aloud wrong, and everybody wanted to get on me about that. I think the reason why this tweet got picked up is because it sounds kind of crazy probably. But as a fighter myself, I watched that fight and saw somebody who was shaking his head when it got stopped. It's like he looked up at the ref. So right here, you'll see he falls, boom, he's shaking his head like no, like no, could have, and he's like, I'm all right. You see him saying that? I'm not saying he is okay, by the way. All right. He might be completely messed up right now. For all I know, he could be saying, yeah, freak accident, shouldn't have happened. He could just be disappointed that it's over, that it got stopped. But the way I see it, he's like, I'm all right. I've watched Barcelos go through a fight. I'm not sure exactly which fight it was, but he dislocated his shoulder in the middle of the fight, and David Ramos put it back into place in the middle of the second round, and he went back and won the fight. Look at this. It's bad. That is a bad dislocation. But the thing about dislocations are once you put them back into place, you're good. We've seen other fighters do it, and I don't know if he was able to get it right back into place, but I know once the joint goes back, the pain goes away. And I can tell you that from myself. I've had my shoulder dislocated in the middle of practice. The second you get it back into place, the pain goes down and you can tough it out. I've watched Brendan Loughnane break his ulna from a spinning back fist in the second round, go on to win the fight and get millions of dollars because they allowed that fight to go on. I've watched, like I said, Barcelos put his shoulder back in the middle of a fight, go on to win the fight and keep his win streak going. I've watched Uriah Faber break not one, but two hands in a fight against Jens Pulver and go on to win the fight. I think the difference between the injuries and Pantoja's injury is when he landed, the referee could see the damage. And before Pantoja could make the decision of, hey, I'm gonna lock it back in and try to see if it works and get back to my feet, they called the fight. So the ref made the decision for him that his elbow was compromised, so the fight must stop. My only thing about this tweet is he should have the choice. Like, give him a second. maybe Joshua Vance starts pounding his face into the ground and he's just holding his elbow, getting beat to death. Okay, fight's over. But he didn't even get the chance to try to fight, try to tough it out, try to get it back together. The ref just called the fight. And then I just see a Pantoja who put in a miserable training camp, shaking his head, going, all that work for a 38-second fight. When, I don't know, I wonder. I mean, I would love to have him on and ask him, like, would you have liked to keep that fight going? Mind you, I'm not saying he would have kept fighting. If I had Pantoja here, he might say, dude, I was done. The pain was so much. I was shaking my head because I was disappointed in myself. Okay, I'm just saying, if I was in Pantoja's space, I want a chance to get to my feet and yank that thing back in, see if I can get it going. Maybe I can get moving. Because if you do, there's a chance you can get it back together. Right here, we're watching somebody put TJ Dillashaw's shoulder back into place. And then look, okay, here we go. Now that's how you find greatness. That is our job as athletes in my experience. We're tougher than we think, all of us as humans. And I think in sport, it's a parallel to life. And our job is to show the general public what you're capable of. TJ Dillashaw went out and got the loss after that, but he shows that you can still stay in the fight and try to keep it together. Doesn't mean Pantoja would have won. Doesn't mean it would have been pretty. My only argument is, did he even get an honest chance of the training camp he put in to show greatness? Let's say the referee doesn't stop it because he doesn't freak out by what he just saw, which I think that's what it is. The referee freaked out, stopped the fight before he even got a chance to call it himself as the fighter who put in the camp. But let's say Pantoja, boom, snaps it back in. The ref doesn't even see the injury and he's just laying down there and he's able to keep it together until he gets his arm back in, and then he gets to his feet and then he finishes the fight, goes the whole distance, or even wins it. What are the stories we're telling about Pantoja? What are the things that everybody in the world can learn about themselves from somebody making it through something that miserable? These are opportunities of greatness that have been taken away to an extent, is the way I see it, by the ref who's scared to death about the injury. Now, their job is to keep us safe, don't get me wrong. But my thing is, did the fighter need you to keep them safe, or were they okay? Could they have toughed it out? We go through these scenarios in practice. We get dropped and we keep it together. I've been rocked multiple times in practice where I fall, get sat down, and part of the training camp is after you get sat down in practice, can you keep it together and come back and win the next 3 rounds after that? This is what we train ourselves for. The referees don't train themselves that way. So when I see something get stopped so quickly before they even get a shot to try to tough it out or get it together, I see a referee being scared for the fighter more than this fighter is scared for themselves. And that's my argument, is how much do the referees have power over our fights when maybe Pantoja wanted to keep going? Is there a possibility of that? He didn't even get the choice. So that's what that tweet's about, is we should have the choice. Considering the training camp we put in, considering the hell. I mean, I can tell you, I've been dropped in multiple training camps and gotten through and won the rest of the training session, or won the rest of the camp, or just did great. And then taken those learnings into the fight with me. I think he might have been able to tough that out. So I wanted to touch base on that. If you don't agree, that's fine. Tell me about it. Comment, please. If you do agree, I think some fighters might agree with me. Man, I just gave you a list of some fighters that might agree with me. Barcelos put his shoulder back into place. TJ Dillashaw put his shoulder back into place. Brendan Loughnane won in PFL with a broken ulna, went on to win the fight. The list goes on of people that have gone through these fights and been able to keep their wits about them and go and get a win. I've seen John Jones break his toe and it's pointing the other direction and he finishes the fight. Like, none of these are ideal. But also, if the ref sees it, I feel like sometimes the ref stops it because they're more scared than the fighter is. I think a lot of fighters would be willing to go through and go win their millions of dollars. Or that's the fine line between what makes a fighter great and what makes a fighter just be like everybody else. Could that have been the thing that makes Pantoja one of the most known 125 pounders on earth, because he's able to lock his elbow back into place and get back in there and maybe not just win the fight, but make it the distance, and everybody watches what that takes and he's got it. I just think there's an argument for that. And that's all that's about. You know, as fighters, it's our job to be tougher than anybody on earth and to challenge ourselves in ways that people can't contemplate could be challenged. So go be great. That's what it takes. That's what winning feels like, doing something nobody else wants to do. But tip my hat to Joshua Van too, because whether you want to argue with me or not, lifting that, elevating, blocking the kick and then elevating, that is something we legitimately practice. You can argue as much as you want, but there's 2 ways to eat a kick. You catch it here, like this, or you catch it and then you lift the elbow. And when you lift the elbow, it keeps their legs shelved, and now they can't return with punches, which is exactly what happened. There's no return back, you see? And that's happened to me a million times in practice, where I throw the guy on the ground, but they don't post and their elbow doesn't snap. They fall, and now they have no follow-up combination. So this is kick defense 101. Now, you don't want to eat it on the head, but he ducked a little, and then you elevate. This happens in practice all the time. This is something I promise you Van has dealt with. So great job by Joshua Van to see the shot, to respond perfectly. Great kick defense, walking forward towards the kick. That's also how you nullify kicks. You don't back up on it, you step into it. Do you know how hard it is to get a kick thrown at you and step forward? It's not normal. Joshua Van did that. This is what makes him so dangerous. I said this before the fight. He steps into the pocket. He steps into the fire. He slips and has head movement in the pocket. Well, stepping towards a kick, right here, stepping towards the kick is what you want to be doing with a kicker. If you step back, the kick lands and puts you out. So this is 2 things. One, I think Pantoja could have toughed it out, possibly if he wanted to. I'm not saying he wanted to. This is just my vision on the outside, and maybe kept it going. And on the other end, Joshua Van, amazing job becoming champion. Nobody gets hurt by this. He's an amazing guy to watch fight. It's fun to watch him. But Pantoja being one of the best of all time, possibly, it was a little bit sad to watch it go down that way so quick. So just to put a button on it, at the end of 2025, this was the year I retired too. Man, it's like, I don't even think I've gotten to really feel it yet. Like just even saying that it's the end of 2025 and this is the year that I've retired, it's emotional for me. I've talked about it in recent podcasts. The transition has been difficult, not because I miss fighting so much necessarily, but because the lifestyle is who I be. It's not what I do. It's the essence of my blood. It's the essence of who I am. It's not my identity. I have so many other identities than a fighter. In fact, sometimes I'm embarrassed to say that I'm a fighter because it seems so meatheady to me. But what I am proud of is that I've got the goal. I've got what it takes to be it, even though I don't have to choose it or have to do it. I want to do it. And, that's not really a choice I'm making. So with the injuries I've had, I've rehabbed this shoulder. I was able to rehab it back and it's feeling amazing. It's getting strong again. But, I'm at a phase in my life where I want to start doing new things. I think that God put me in this position to transition to other things and give back to the world in different ways, give back to the sport in different ways, see what else I can create, what other amazing things I can do. And so, here I am going against the grain, trying something that's completely different to transform rather than staying in what I know so well, rather than staying in just what makes me comfortable, which would be just get right back into the fight. But I do believe that it's harder not to go back. I think the reason why I would want to go back is because it would almost be the easier, more known choice. And staying out and focusing on what else I can give to the world in different ways, commentary, different work, different jobs. Who knows what kind of miracles can be created if I switch my mindset from just fighting. Because when I choose just fighting, I choose just fighting. Nothing else can stick to me. No new relationships, no new job opportunities, no new anything. It's just fight and win. That's it. And it puts me into a certain headspace that it shuts everything else out. So now, just being out of the fight game, out of the competition pool, I should say, not out of the fight game, out of the competition pool, just changes my whole perspective when you don't got somebody on the outside getting ready to kill you or that wants to take everything you got. I now can just look at life a little different. So it's been definitely seen that way. It's definitely been weird to be on the other side, to be out of it, to not have to have somebody in the competition pool coming after me, to not have USADA knocking on my door every month, drug testing me. But it's been fun too. So thanks so much for being with me, not only in the fight journey for 20 years, just following my career, but following me out into where I'm at now and getting to be with you guys here. What a epic journey it was in fighting over the past 20 years. And then to just be out over the last 6 months has been another epic journey. And to be able to share it with you in my transition into communication and talking and letting you guys get to know who I really am. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for choosing to subscribe and hear me talk. Appreciate you guys. I love you guys so much. And let's make it a great 2026. It's the year of the snake. So we get rid of everything. We let everything go. Zodiac signs. Let's start a new beginning this year coming up. And I'm going to be there with you. I love you guys. See you on the other side.